In the vast tapestry of cinema history, there are performances that define careers, moments that capture the zeitgeist. And then, there's Kevin J. O'Connor as Beni in The Mummy, a tour de force of scene stealing that left audiences wondering if they'd accidentally wandered into the Beni Show, featuring some mummies and that guy from George of the Jungle. Picture, if you will, a film ostensibly about an ancient Egyptian priest rising from the dead to wreak havoc on 1920s Cairo. A film starring Brendan Fraser as Rick O'Connell, a dashing adventurer with hair that defies both gravity and historical accuracy, and Rachel Weisz as Evelyn Carnahan, a plucky librarian who's never met a cursed book she didn't like. Now forget all that, because Kevin J. O'Connor didn't get the memo, or if he did, he used it to roll a cigarette and then promptly ignored its contents. From the moment Beni appears on screen, O'Connor embarks on a one-man mission to hijack every scene he's in with the determination of a toddler who's just discovered sugar. With a face that seems perpetually stuck between a grimace and a smirk, as if he's constantly smelling something unpleasant but also finds it vaguely amusing, he delivers each line as if it's the key to unlocking the secrets of the universe, or at least the secret to more screen time. O'Connor's Beni is a masterclass in how to turn a supporting character into the main attraction. Need someone to betray the hero? Beni's your man, and he'll do it with such gusto you'll wonder why anyone trusts him in the first place. It's as if O'Connor decided that loyalty was for suckers and embraced the art of backstabbing with the enthusiasm of a kid in a candy store full of opportunities for treachery. Looking for comic relief? Beni's got you covered, with a repertoire of expressions that range from mildly terrified to absolutely petrified, with a dash of "I can't believe I'm still alive" thrown in for good measure. His face is a canvas, and his fear is his medium. Michelangelo had the Sistine Chapel. O'Connor has Beni's perpetual state of panic. But it's not just his facial gymnastics that steal the show. O'Connor imbues Beni with a kind of nervous energy that makes you wonder if he's secretly powered by several shots of espresso, a few cans of Red Bull, and perhaps a small nuclear reactor. He scurries across the screen like a caffeinated ferret, always one step ahead of danger and 2 steps behind dignity. In a world of swashbuckling heroes and ancient evils, Beni is the guy who brought a butter knife to a gunfight and somehow still thinks he has the upper hand. Perhaps the true genius of O'Connor's performance lies in his ability to make you root for Beni, despite him being, objectively, the worst. He's a coward, a traitor, and probably smells like he hasn't showered since the pharaohs were in power. Yet somehow you find yourself hoping he'll survive just a little longer, if only to see what ridiculous situation he'll get himself into next. It's like watching a car crash in slow motion, except the car is Beni's moral compass, and the crash is his every decision. O'Connor's line delivery is a thing of beauty. He spits out each word as if it's simultaneously the most important thing he's ever said and something he's desperately trying to get out of his mouth before it bites him. His "oh my God" in the face of the mummy should be studied in acting classes for generations to come. It's not just fear. It's existential dread wrapped in a blanket of regret and deep-fried in pure unadulterated panic. You can hear the layers of survival instinct, betrayal, and sheer "I did not sign up for this" in every syllable. In a film filled with supernatural threats and ancient curses, Kevin J. O'Connor manages to be the most unpredictable element. You never know if Beni is about to save the day, ruin everything, or just run away screaming. It's this uncertainty that keeps you on the edge of your seat, wondering not if the mummy will be defeated, but what Beni will do next. Will he betray his friends? Probably. Will he make a deal with the mummy? Almost certainly. Will he do it all while looking like he's about to wet himself? Absolutely! O'Connor's Beni is a linguist's dream, switching between languages with the ease of someone changing channels on a TV. English, Arabic, Hungarian, Chinese. He's got more tongues than a United Nations conference. And yet, no matter what language he's speaking, the underlying message is always clear. Please don't kill me. I'm too cowardly to die. And let's talk about Beni's uncanny ability to weasel out of situations that should, by all accounts, be his final moments. You'd think a man who has betrayed everyone he's ever met would have been tossed into a pit of scarabs long before the final act. Yet there he is, still standing, or more often, running. He's like a cockroach in a collapsing building. Just when you think he's squashed, he scuttles away, somehow avoiding catastrophe. It's almost impressive how many times he should have met his end, but sheer, unrelenting self-preservation keeps him going. Let's not forget Beni's fashion sense, or rather, his complete lack thereof. O'Connor wears Beni's ragtag wardrobe like a second skin, as if he was born to play a man who looks like he got dressed in the dark while running from several angry creditors. His fez sits atop his head not so much as a hat, but as a tiny red beacon signaling to the world, "Trouble incoming!" Probably my fault. Even Beni's final moments in the film, trapped in the darkness with only a dwindling flame and the sound of unseen horrors approaching, are iconic. In a movie filled with grand, adventurous set pieces, it's somehow this small, almost pathetic moment that lingers in the mind. The man who has spent the entire film running, scheming, and surviving finally meets a fate that feels inevitable. Yet somehow you half expect him to pop up in the sequel, having inexplicably escaped once again, brushing off the whole buried alive thing as just another minor inconvenience. So here's to Kevin J. O'Connor, the supporting actor who decided to support himself right into the spotlight. In a world of mummies and adventurers, he reminded us that sometimes the real treasure is the shameless scene stealer we met along the way. He took a character that could have been a forgettable footnote and turned him into the guy you quote at parties, much to the confusion of those who haven't seen the film. The next time you watch The Mummy, pay attention to the background. Chances are you'll find Kevin J. O'Connor there, not just chewing the scenery, but devouring it whole, digesting it, and asking for seconds. And honestly, we wouldn't have it any other way. In a film about the undead, it's O'Connor's very alive, very human, and very panicked performance that brings the whole thing to life. In conclusion, while The Mummy may be remembered for its special effects, its adventure, and Brendan Fraser's hair, true cinephiles know that the real star is the guy in the background, trying desperately not to be eaten by scarab beetles. Kevin J. O'Connor as Beni, proof that sometimes the supporting actor is the real mummy's curse, impossible to ignore and leaving an impact that lasts for millennia, or at least until the sequel